in order for me to be able to check if a business is, investable or acceptable by the investors or any endorsing bodies, the thing that is important for me is that I formulated a platform or a system for myself to be able to check exactly different aspects of the business. So we start with the customer segments and the early adopters of the businesses. And these are the things that you've already, provided to me, in the previous, cases. Then we will go and check that what are the main problems. And as you see, these are the information that will be taken from different, forms that, we are working on. What are the main problems and what are the existing alternatives that we are having? We believe that each of these alternatives have a bunch of, problems. And, we have a solution for that. We have a solution that we believe that it is, better. We are better than, our competitors or our alternatives. Then there are some, special triggering events or pain points that we have to be focusing on. For example, the case of the sanctions on Russian, telecommunication companies, which, one of the main suppliers of you are. The Russian, telecommunication companies give you an opportunity. Also, it is a pain point, but it made a problem in the supply chain, but it gave you an opportunity. Right now, you have a solution, and the solution is, to solve this problem. And based on that solution, you are going to develop a bunch of products. Then we are going to, check exactly that what are the, main strengths, weakness, and, opportunity and threats in your business. But when your product becomes ready, we have to check exactly the supply side and the demand side of your business. So I will send you the information about these cases separately to know exactly the supply side and the demand side, what are the main questions and the main things that should be answered. Based on that, we have to come up with the supply and demand, in fact, gap analysis. So when we check the gap, we go for the next stage, and that is, the case that, we defined it as, our unique value proposition. And finally, it comes up with the business concept that, okay, we have a scenario for that how should it be written out in a way that, it acts like a, pitch deck or elevator pitch, it's better to say. We go in the next stage to the key factors of success, which are, some of them are, derived from the financial projection that we are going to make. And also, some of them are, from the different parts, like for example, here is the market position, here is the profit projection parameters, here are, the numbers of the visits or practically the leads that you make. We have to have some strategic focus on, sales and people and operation and marketing. And the next stage would be that, we have to go and focus on the marketing channels. What are the marketing channels of yours and what are the marketing channels of your competitors? In which sector you want to, outweigh them. And based on these, we will go to the process of checking the staffing. If the contract between the board members are set correctly, if, the financials are, everything is okay in the financial aspects, if there are any kind of ESOPs, set forward. And finally, we will go and check that what is the exit strategy that we are going to, offer to our investors. And based on that, when all of these parameters, which are more than, in fact, 110 parameters, when all of this became ready, our finalized document will be produced and will be prepared.